We're doing a 2024 AFL season predictions. It's Thursday. Round Zero's first game starts tonight. And I'm leaving it last minute. But let's just quickly get my thoughts down on paper because I want to come back at the end of the year and either tell you how bloody good I was and how accurate I was, or be absolutely embarrassed at how bad my predictions are. But let's just get into it anyway. We'll start with the bottom four teams, I think, this year. It's pretty easy to start with, I think. And at dead last, pretty easy prediction, but I'm going to go with West Coast Eagles. I just can't see how they're going to improve that much from last year. Yes, they got an absolute superstar in Harley Reid, but there's just no one around him to really support him, I think. Like, it's going to be hard. Oscar Allen, absolute gun. I think he could kick a fair few goals this year, but there's just, other than them two, like, I really don't see them having that great of a side, I'm going to be honest. And then at second last, I'm tossing up between North Melbourne and Richmond. I think I like North Melbourne a little bit more than Richmond, which is actually a very wild statement to say. North Melbourne have no backline, no offence to North Melbourne supporters and even players, but like, their backline isn't that strong, but they've got a gun midfield. Like, Wardlaw is going to be a superstar. Simpkin hopefully is alright after that concussion. But yeah, I think I'm going to put Richmond second last this year. That could really come back to bite me in the ass. Richmond could bloody make top 8 for all I know. But I'm just going to put Richmond second last and North Melbourne third last. And then to round off the bottom four, I think I'm going to go with Fremantle. They just seem to lose all their good players. I don't know what's wrong with Freo. What's going on over there. I really do like Freo. They've got some nice, good players. But every time they get a established player that's starting to show really good signs, they just seem to leave and go to a different club, which must be tough being a Freo supporter. But yeah, that's going to be my bottom four. So West Coast dead last, Richmond second last, North Melbourne third last, and then I think I'm going to go with Freo fourth last. And then just to throw it in there, I think fifth last will be Geelong. I know that could bite me in the ass because they tend to just pull something out of nothing and they could finish top 4. Like I said, I'm really bad at this stuff, and I'm going to put Geelong fifth last just to put it out there. When they finish low, I'm going to be like, I picked that, or it could come back to bite me in the ass. And then we're going to go with a team I think will finish 9th this year, and this one really hurts because I've just moved up here on the Gold Coast. I've always loved the Gold Coast Suns. They've always been my second favourite team. And since I've moved up here, I'm going to go to a lot of Gold Coast Suns games this year. I just think they're going to finish 9th. And I really hope I'm wrong. And I hope they smash it and make top 4. Because honestly, I think they could make top 4 if they pull it all together. They have a great list. And Touk Miller is an absolute superstar. You've got some guns there. You've got Matt Rowell, Noah Anderson. I really think they have a team that could literally make top 4. But unfortunately, I think they're just going to fall short this year and probably finish about 9th, which hurts me to say. I hope I am wrong, and I hope they make the top 8. But yeah, that is Gold Coast Suns to finish 9th. And we'll go for the top 8 now. And starting in 8th position, I need to get my phone out for this because I haven't prepared for this at all. Like I said, I've just woken up this morning and I'm going through my predictions. God, I should have done some research. 8th position, I think this could be really bad, but I think it could be GWS. I know they had a really good year last year and they nearly made a grand final, and I love GWS as well, even though I should hate them because I'm a Bulldog supporter. But I have a soft spot for GWS. But I just, looking at the other teams, I think they might finish 8th. And then moving on to 7th. This hurts me to do, but I think I have to pick my beloved Western Bulldogs. We always seem to finish 7th. We won a flag from 7th in 2016, so I wouldn't be too upset. But I really want to tip us to make top 4, but that's just me being a one-eyed Bulldog supporter. I think we have a really good list and we could make top 4 if everything goes right and Bevo pulls an absolute rabbit out of the hat and the team work together really well. But I think at 7th, I'm going to put the beloved Western Bulldogs, and that could come back to bite me. Bulldogs are a hard team to tip because I love them and I know their best is like genuinely good enough to nearly win a flag. I think like they'll be in the top 3 if they put everything together. But also their worst when they're not putting stuff together is honestly like bottom 4 worthy. And then at 6th on the ladder, I think it's between 2 teams here. So I could put them 6th and 5th. It doesn't really matter. But I think it's going to be, I think Melbourne Demons will finish 6th on the ladder this year. Good side. Picked up some good players. I like the Demons, but I just can't see them making quite that top 4. Gonna stick them in that 6th spot. And then in that 5th spot, just falling short of the top 4, I think we're going to go with the Sydney Swans. I love the Swans. Got a couple Yarrawonga boys there from James Jordan that just got traded from Melbourne to the Swans. Absolute gun. And then little Caleb Mitchell. We love Caleb Mitchell. He's on the list there. Hopefully he gets a few games this year. So I really love the Swans. I hope they make top 4 for them boys' sake. But I think they might just miss out. But they're going to be a strong team this year. And then we're going to go to the top 4. This is where it gets exciting. This is where you got your premiership contenders. Apart from one team. They won't win a premiership this year. They always make the top 4 and then fall off. But I'm going to have Port in 4th. And then they go out in straight sets again. That could come back to bite me. I hope it does. I like Port. I love Zach Butters. I love Connor Rozee. But I think, yeah, Port are just going to finish 4th. Probably could make a prelim. I honestly think they could make a prelim. And if everything falls right, they could make the grand final. And then 3rd, I have Collingwood. I think they're going to be up there again. They're an absolute gun of a team. Really good players, really good coach in Craig McRae. Can't see them falling off too much. But I don't think they'll finish on top of the ladder. I think there'll be a couple hiccups. They might drop a couple games where they probably shouldn't have. Like, they can't win every game by less than a goal like they did last year and the year before. So I feel like there's a couple of them games they might drop, so it might just put them back to 3rd or 2nd. And then 2nd on the ladder, I have Carlton Football Club. Really like what Carlton are doing. They are leading up to be a really strong team this year. Sam Walsh out at the start of the year could affect it a bit, but they have an absolute superstar list. And if they can keep their key players on the park, I honestly can't see them losing too many games this year. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with, which leaves for the number 1 spot. Drum roll please. I had them there last year. They made it to the grand final. And that is Brisbane Lions. They're just up there all the time lately. Since about 2018, I think they've been in the top 4 nearly every year. So I think this is their year. I think they're going to be in the grand final this year. They get them home games, them home finals. They're hard to beat at the Gabba. Definitely going to have to shoot up and watch a few Brisbane Lion games living up here now. Really like what they do. They're an exciting team to watch. Love Charlie Cameron. I don't think they're going to win the grand final. My prediction to win the grand final is West Coast Eagles. No, I'm kidding. I actually think that's going to win the flag this year. Honestly, going to be Carlton. Would be a massive grand final if Carlton make it. But I genuinely think Carlton could win the grand final, and I think the grand final is going to be Carlton versus Brisbane this year, or it could be Carlton versus Collingwood, to be honest, but that'd be huge. I'd love to see Carlton versus Collingwood. Who I think is going to win the Brownlow medal in 2024, this one hurts, because Bontempelli always falls short right in the last game or two, but I honestly think if he stays fit this year and uninjured, this is his year. I think he's going to get enough 3 votes this year, because the Bulldogs are going to win enough games. But I would love to see Bontempelli finally win a Brownlow medal. That's all he needs. That'll complete his resume. He's done everything he can for the Bulldogs. I love him to death. And I hope he wins the Brownlow medal this year. Then I've got a couple Smokies for the Brownlow as well. I should have picked one, but I couldn't help myself. 2 players I think that could win the Brownlow, and I love to death these 2 players. I reckon Touk Miller, if the Suns win enough games, he will go very close in the Brownlow. He'll be a top 3 if the Suns can get around that top 8. And then another favourite, Smokey, not really a Smokey, he's an absolute superstar already. But I think Zach Butters from Port Adelaide, they're going to win enough games and hopefully he can get up there, and he'll be sniffing around the top 3 as well, I reckon. So my top 3 Brownlow prediction, one of these guys I hope win it. Now the Coleman medal, and I honestly think after watching the 2 practice matches of the Western Bulldogs, I honestly think Jamarra Ugle-Hagan is this far off of having an absolute gun season. And I think if he can kick straight, he will kick 60 odd goals this year, and he'll be looking like he is a chance to win the Coleman medal. He's going to be the most paid AFL player after this next contract, I believe. I think he's going to sign a huge contract, and I hope he does. He deserves it. Yeah, I can't see how he stays at the Bulldogs if he has a standout year like we are all predicting him to do. And my Smoky that I would love to see as well. Haven't seen a small forward win a Brownlow medal in I don't know how long, but I would love to see Charlie Cameron from Brisbane Lions win the Coleman medal. A small forward, I'm a bit of a small forward myself, so I would love to see him come out and kick the most goals for the year and win the Coleman medal. So they're my top 2. I honestly think Jamarra or Charlie Cameron will win the Coleman this year. And for the Rising Star, you're going to probably guess my prediction again, one-eyed Bulldog supporter. But genuinely watching Riley Sanders in the practice match games, He is a genuine superstar. He had 30 disposals against Hawthorn the other day. I think he was second most disposals for the Bulldogs behind Bontempelli. It's his first freaking hit out, pretty much, in a full fitted Bulldogs side, and he's coming second to Marcus Bontempelli. I think our midfield is strong enough, so he'll be getting like the second or third best mid. I think he'll be able to run free and do whatever he wants for the Bulldogs, and I think he is good enough to win the Rising Star this year. You're thinking, what about Harley Reid? Absolute superstar. Love Harley Reid, and I really hope he goes and dominates for the West Coast Eagles, and would love to see him do what Nick Dacos has done for Collingwood. Genuinely don't see how he can dominate in the West Coast team when he's going to probably be getting one of the best mids from the start, because he is just a gun and they're not going to want to let him dominate. I hope he's up there and I hope he wins it, but yeah, I think Riley Sanders could win it, and if it's not Riley Sanders or Harley Reid, I really think George Wardlaw has it in the bag this year, because he is just an absolute man mountain. I think he's still qualified. I don't think he played enough games last year to over qualify. So I genuinely think Wardlaw, if it's not Harley Reid or Riley Sanders, it'll most likely be Wardlaw, because he is an absolute gun for North Melbourne, and I think they're slowly becoming on the rise, and that midfield is absolutely stacked. And an All-Australian surprise nomination or surprise team selection, I think, after watching last year's grand final, I genuinely think Kitty Coleman is going to absolutely dominate this year for the Brisbane Lions, and I think he could easily get selected in the All-Australian team this year. He would have got so much confidence from how good he played in that grand final last year. He was easily second best on the ground, I reckon, that day, or at least Brisbane's best player, and absolutely can't wait to watch him play this year. I think he's going to be an absolute superstar. That is it for my 2024 predictions, but let me know what you think I got right, what you think I got wrong. There's probably a lot I got wrong. I can't wait to come back at the end of this year and see how bad I did or how good I did. Hopefully I nailed every single pick. But yeah, if you want more footy content like this, make sure you subscribe. The game day vlogs are going to be coming back very shortly. So if you want to see me out there playing footy, doing the game day stuff, make sure you subscribe right now, and I'll see you in next week's video. Yo!